Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with atbbq.com, and today we're grilling up some crab cakes. Crab cakes are one of my favorite appetizers, and when I go to a restaurant and see a crab cake on the menu, I'm probably gonna order it. If I don't, my wife's probably gonna order it. So over the years, I've learned that the secret to a really good crab cake is less filler and more crab. You want the right amount of seasoning, but a huge amount of crab, and enough of that binder just to hold it all together. Before we jump into the crab cake itself, I want to prepare an aioli to serve alongside. Now this aioli starts off with egg yolks, as all aiolis do. I'm gonna place this into our KitchenAid food processor. And you can do this by hand with a whisk if you want, but it's much easier to pull off in a food processor. Next, we need some lemon juice, but before we get to the juice, I want to take the zest off of here. So we're going to use this later to really bump up that lemon flavor in the aioli. When you're zesting your citrus, whether it's lemon or lime or orange or whatever it is, what you want to do is take something like this microplane, where you can take off just the very outside layer, that yellow layer or green layer or orange layer, whatever it is, but you're leaving the pithy white stuff behind because this is where the bitterness is, but there's tons of flavor and aroma in this stuff right on the outside. You're gonna shoot for about 2 teaspoons of lemon juice per egg yolk because we want some extra lemon flavor in this. And that'll be enough to get us started. We can always come back and add some more later if we want to. Next, we want a couple pinches of mustard powder. And now we're gonna begin our emulsion. So we'll start just by blending what we already have in there, and then we're slowly gonna drizzle in our oils. I've got 1.5 cups of vegetable oil to get us started. I'm gonna add just the thinnest stream possible at first to begin the emulsion. The mixture is already beginning to lighten in color, which is what we expect to see as we incorporate more and more of the oil. And as we get more oil incorporated, we can begin to add it faster. Now you can see that what started out as liquid is now that aioli or mayonnaise consistency. All right, now that we've got the veggie oil incorporated, I want to add some olive oil just for the flavor. So we got 1/2 cup of olive oil. And the reason we're splitting this up is I've found that all olive oil is a little bit too bitter in the end. So it's nice to kind of balance it by mixing the two. All right, beautiful, fully incorporated. You can imagine how long that takes to do by hand, just whipping it and whipping it, working your shoulder, working your arm. The KitchenAid makes really quick and easy work of it. Now this is the base of our aioli. And from here we can add a few more flavoring agents. I'm gonna pull out 1/4 cup of our aioli to mix into the crab cake, and then we'll finish it off. So for what we're doing today, I want to add some capers for a little salty brininess. I'm going to put about 1 tablespoon of sriracha in here. And then that lemon zest. We'll just mince this down a little bit more fine. Use just a pinch of smoked salt in here as well. Other than the capers, we really don't have anything bringing that salt aspect to this. All right, let's have a taste. That's really nice. I think I'm gonna go just a little bit more salt, but otherwise, spot on. And we can set this aside, move it to the refrigerator until we're ready to use it. This is something you can always adjust the consistency of. If you want it a little bit thinner, add a little bit of water to it. Just make sure you taste and know what it changes as far as the flavor profile goes. You can use this as a condiment on a number of things, not just with the crab cakes, but spread it on a sandwich or dip some French fries in it. It's a great thing to have on hand. All right, let's jump right into making these crab cakes. I'm gonna start with a ½ pound of fine crab meat and then a ½ pound of the larger lump crab meat. This gives us a nice variety and texture. Add to that 3/4 cup of panko, 1/4 cup of shredded Parmesan, and then we've got that 1/4 cup of the aioli base that we saved back. I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of the House of Q slow smoked gold mustard and 4 teaspoons of Cattleman's Grill California tri-tip seasoning. Now we've also got about a teaspoon of minced garlic and a ½ cup of green onions, just the green part. We've got this red bell pepper that we've blackened here on the grill, run it at about 400 degrees. I'm gonna roast this off and then steam it in a bag so we can get the skin off of there and access that sweet flesh. Get rid of these skins. And with the seeds and the skins removed, just gonna dice this down to a small dice. And you're shooting for about 1/3 to a ½ cup total. And one last thing to hold it all together, a couple of eggs. Now we're just gonna get in there and work it all together. All right, so we're not gonna overwork it because we do wanna keep some of those larger pieces intact to give us that variety and texture. Now what we have here is just shy of 4 cups of filling, so we're gonna go for about a ½ cup portion each, and we'll get 8 of these crab cakes out of this mixture. And as you portion each of these out, just give it a press so it stays together. Now I'm gonna take these crab cakes and throw them in the fridge for at least 30 minutes to let them firm up. This is really important so that they stay together on the griddle. Also, if you want, you can do this process overnight. So that way you've got your crab cakes ready to go and all you gotta do is pull them out, get them breaded up, and throw them onto the griddle. These crab cakes have set up, and now there's one last thing to do. As I mentioned before, we're doing sort of a breading on the outside. Really, there's plenty of moisture in this crab cake the way it is. So we just need to press onto the outside, a bit of a crunchy texture so that we get a variety of textures when we fry these up on the cast iron in the Kamado Joe. So I'm gonna put down 3/4 of a cup of panko and a 1/4 cup of Parmesan. We're just gonna run these crab cakes through here, pressing the mixture into the outside. That's all there is to it. We're cooking these today on the Kamado Joe Classic 2. It's set up for direct grilling, but we do have the half moon griddle set up at the highest setting. The grill's sitting at about 350 degrees, and the cast iron's nice and hot. We're gonna put some oil down. You're just gonna make sure you have a little bit of oil under each one of these, because that's really what's gonna help get that crispy texture. And these should brown pretty quickly, so you wanna go ahead and close the lid to make sure that the crab cake warms all the way through in the amount of time that it takes to brown the outside. There we go. Just a few minutes. I mean, less than 5, and you've got a beautiful brown color, nice crunchy exterior. So just checking for doneness now. These have been on here about 10 minutes total. A nice golden brown on the bottom side. Beautiful. These are ready to come off. So we're just gonna top this off with our aioli now. Nice little finishing touch with some Italian microgreens. That's a beautiful appetizer. Now let's see how it tastes. So good, hot off the griddle like that. It's warm, the textures are just incredible. Such an array of textures. I mean, you get the creaminess of the aioli on top of the crunch from the outside. The inside is just like steaming hot, and that crab is so tender. And all of those flavors are working together for a really great savory flavor profile. You guys can do these at home, and you can do better than the restaurant. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out atbbq.com for all of the products featured in today's video. If you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments, or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below. And let's be good to one another. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to thesauce.atbbq.com. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.